many of you minnows want to know. Well, let's address those little nibbling concerns here so you can troll other waters and what you're looking for is not here.
Music?
Is this a pornographic story? A good question. Here's another. Who doesn't enjoy pornography? We all do. Oh, yes. I forgot. There are those people who don't watch pornography. But actually, we can all tell exactly who those people are whenever we pass them on the street. In fact, that is what is so clearly, obviously wrong with those people. You see them, and you can tell that they don't watch any pornography, and that is why they are so clearly walking disasters. So let's say no more about them, and move on to the rest of us. And our love affair with porn. What realizations does one come to when one runs a pornography business? What happens to his understanding of humanity? Well, I happen to have been the captain of a small pornography empire, so I can speak from experience. When you study the way someone watches pornography, when you study the anonymous hordes of porn consumers, you learn that most people require from their porn a very precise degree of revelation to titillate them, and a very precise, nearly equal, but not quite, degree of concealment, also to titillate, which is also the way to sail a ship, to keep her afloat. Let's sail on, shall we? Over time, I developed more tactics for evading false Neverboys. My life in the city and before that, my entire existence in those starless years bent itself on one single devotion. I waited for him everywhere, at every minute. If I caught myself losing sight of that purpose, I repeated the words. You are the child who will cut me open. The effect was like quick pain followed by sharpened senses and a rush of invincibility. I remembered the boy I had heard and the boy I once was. I knew that he would come. But one night, after weeks of riding the urine-soaked trains, listening to the metal screams, and meditating in the sad, amputated cars, my hope wandered away from me, boarding some other train, leaving me prisoner in a hollow December night. I cried in the back of the subway car for 30 minutes, and the other passengers hardly regarded me. My mind, in its free-falling grief, came to doubt that such a being as the Neverboy existed at all. I considered that perhaps I had wasted nearly all my life. Could I abandon my belief in the Neverboy? Begin again believing that the surface of life is not a curtain, but an absolute boundary, and that there was no sly boy making faces at me from behind it. I would fall into a miserable and plain existence for the rest of my days. I was part of this world now, a part of this world of drifting ghosts shuttled underfoot by screeching metal snakes. The subway car was empty and it was 3 a.m. I howled in pain and began to write graffiti everywhere. This is what I wrote wherever I went. Please may there be one true thing in this world. One thing that is honest and real and keen and waiting for me. This is hell, I thought.
Music?
I looked across the car at the window opposite me and saw the words printed there in black marker. This is hell. I I searched my memory. I could not remember writing those words, although the handwriting was similar to mine. I got up from my seat and examined the writing. Then I noticed more graffiti nearby, clearly done in the same marker, by the same person. This way out. The arrow at the end of the phrase pointed to my right, toward the next car. There was more graffiti on the floor. This way out. The arrow pointed to the back of the car. The car lights flickered out momentarily, and the sparks from the electric track peppered the cabin with blue charges. There was only one passenger. The car lights fluttered back to life, and the boy looked up at me casually. He didn't look away. Yes. The boy's skin was smooth, stretching over a sharp jaw and tough, curving lips. His hair exploded yellow spikes, a sunburst of electricity sprouting from his face. Rings hung from his ears, tingling like baby crickets whenever he moved his head. He wore a tight green t-shirt and dirty jeans held up by a belt with a huge buckle. There was an arrow pointing to his face and some graffiti. This way out. I just sat and tried to listen above the rattle of the train to hear any sound that might come from his body. Nothing. I lifted my gaze slowly until it rested on his shredded black Converse sneakers. One sneaker moved and rubbed the toe of the other. I lifted my gaze slowly to the thigh where I could see his small hand resting on his thigh like a bird. When I looked up at his face, he was already looking at me. You're cute. Then the train began to slow nearing the station and I began to panic. The doors opened and he stood. I watched him in horror. He walked off the train and onto the platform. I barely brought myself through the doors before they snapped shut behind me. He turned around.
Like me?
Yes, I like you.
It's cold.
Yes, it's cold. Let's warm up somewhere. Where were you heading? No place special. Why'd you get off? See if you'd follow me. I don't live around here. Me either. I live back that way. Let's take a taxi there.
Then stuff.
Stuff.